Now friends, welcome back to another episode of Generation Tech. My name's Alan. Last night during Monday Night Football, a load of bombshells were dropped with the release of the new Episode 8 official trailer. We did a quick review of it here, so if you guys are interested, check it out. Anyway, minor spoiler ahead, one of the pivotal moments in the trailer is a scene where Kylo Ren is bearing down on a Republic cruiser and is about to fire what I'm guessing are proton torpedoes at the bridge of the cruiser. On the bridge is none other than Princess Leia, his mother. Talk about mother issues, right? If this scene is actually in the movie and the trailer isn't trying to mislead us, then this will be one of the pivotal moments in the movie and Kylo Ren's development. This will determine whether he falls completely to the darkness or returns to the light. In order to understand whether Kylo Ren will kill his mother or not, we have to really look at their relationship, and in order to do that, we have to go to the beginning. Kylo Ren was conceived by Han Solo and Princess Leia Organa in the top turbo laser turret of the Millennium Falcon, which is like the equivalent of the back of a station wagon here on Earth. Just kidding, we don't really know how Ben was conceived. It's very possible though that it happened during the celebration on Endor after the second Death Star was destroyed. The timing kind of makes sense. It's been said that Endor was the party of the century. People basically went nuts after a few decades of Imperial oppression. Everyone was hammered doing stims and spice. I mean, the Ewoks were cooking up stormtrooper meat and serving it to people, not telling them what it is. It was a completely screwed up time. It's completely possible, though, that Leia conceived Ben during this time, but of course, no one really remembers, so we don't know who the father actually is. It could even be Luke. I mean, those two just have a really weird and slightly sickening chemistry. And guys, you know what they say about incest babies, right? They're more likely to fall to the dark side. Anyway, Leia connected with her baby very early on. She could feel him in the earliest stages of pregnancy. She equated the feeling as a living band of light. It's very obvious that Leia and Kylo had a relationship that very few fetuses and mothers could actually have. It was a very special connection. But Leia also felt a dark intrusion in her womb that would occasionally darken that little band of light. This was Snoke, who just loves creeping around and sending dark thoughts into the wombs of pregnant women. Guy's a real piece of work. Instead of asking for help or letting Han and Luke know about the situation, Leia thought that she could protect Ben all by herself. The princess was a very headstrong and independent woman who was naturally gifted in the Force. But she also had very little formal training and was not adequate enough to protect little Ben. But all that was forgotten when baby Ben was born, the day the Empire surrendered to the New Republic, shortly after the Battle of Jakku. The Solos named Ben after Luke's old mentor, Obi-Wan Kenobi, or Old Ben Kenobi. It quickly became apparent that the boy was Force sensitive. Not much is known about his childhood, but it seems like Kylo was a relatively normal boy, but occasionally struggled with the dark side of the Force. It was this reason that Leia ended up sending Kylo to study under Luke Skywalker. While Leia was a terrific statesman and Han was a terrific smuggler, they were both actually quite terrible at parenting. It wasn't that they didn't love Ben, it was more like they had trouble balancing their time between work and family. When Kylo was 24, Leia was embattled in a tough political battle when her opponents revealed to the public that she and Luke were the offsprings of Darth Vader. This had been kept a secret for very obvious reasons. While much of the public had forgotten her sacrifices for the rebellion, they definitely remembered what kind of villain Darth Vader was. Only Luke and a handful of others really forgave Anakin and understood his return to the light side. Ben felt betrayed that his mother and father had never told him this, and the Skywalkers became pariahs. It was like the real-world equivalent of being the offsprings of Nazi war criminals. At the time, Ben was still with Luke Skywalker. Influenced by Snoke, his anger towards his parents grew, and he became infatuated with Darth Vader. Kylo would go on to betray Luke and destroy his new Jedi temple and kill all the other students. His actions destroyed his family. Luke went into hiding, Han and Leia separated and went off to do what they did best. Leia started the resistance movement to fight the First Order. Han dabbled into racing, and then he reunited with Chewbacca and returned to smuggling. And that's all we really know about Kylo Ren and Leia's relationship. From what I can tell, Leia wasn't really a bad mother. Kylo didn't suffer from abuse or slavery like Anakin did. While withholding information from Kylo was not the best move, I think Leia's actions are forgivable. In the end, Kylo's anger is really a side product of Snoke's interference, and Luke's and Leia's inability to combat him. It's my belief that killing Han shook Kylo down to the core and deeply traumatized him. Kylo will try his best to suppress this trauma, but in the end, I don't really think it will work. If you're going to sacrifice one of the most beloved characters in Star Wars, it makes sense that the sacrifice will have a profound effect on the story. Now, whether Kylo will kill his mother or not is really unknown. We definitely see in the trailer that Kylo has not hardened into some killing machine. He's still filled with inner turmoil. And as he approaches Leia's ship, he hesitates. Not only does Kylo have a really deep connection with his mother, it seems like Leia is reaching out to him as he makes his attack run. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean that Kylo won't kill his mother or Leia doesn't die in some other way, but I do think Kylo is more vulnerable and confused than ever, and should his mother die by his hands or anyone else's hands, there's no telling what will happen. But should he spare her, that will signify Kylo's return to the light side, or at least a middle gray area. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Will Kylo Ren end up killing Leia in Episode 8? A special thanks to all you Patreon supporters out there. If I ever found out that your grandfather was Darth Vader, I wouldn't judge you. I would just tell you that you might lose some limbs in the near future because it runs in the family. Thanks for joining us today. If you're watching this, you are Generation Tech.